Outrageous Chapter 66. After Liu Shijiao finished having her nonsensical thoughts, she patted her face. She was clear-minded now. Nothing was determined yet. Liu Jiwei did not say that she likes girls. How could she keep thinking down this route? Forming a business CP was also for the popularity, it was reasonable. Sang Wanxi, whom every show wanted as a female lead, was already a very good friend for being willing to work with her sister, who was a small supporting actress. Liu Shijiao, wake up, stop thinking about it. She shook her head and added Ying Xizes WeChat, then changed the battle venue to WeChat. Liu Shijiao, that's settled then. If my sister has any updates on her love life, you have to tell me immediately. Ying Xize could not understand. Ying Xize, but why are you so gossipy about your sister's love life? Ying Xize, I do not see you so enthusiastic about caring about her health. Liu Shijiao really felt like he was dumb. Liu Shijiao, physical health matters, emotional health matters too. Liu Shijiao, aren't I just afraid my sister would fall in love and fall out of love, then have nobody to cry to? Liu Shijiao, if I do not even know who she is dating, how do I console her? Ever since she started contacting Liu Jiwei again, she realized that Liu Jiwei's circle of friends was very small, to the point that she could count all of Liu Jiwei's friends on one hand. It seemed like she had lived alone as well in the past, with nobody to chat to or open up to. It was really pitiful. Now that she had finally come to her sister's side, she would shoulder the responsibility of being a family member. To care for her, to love her, to be the support behind her. Wasn't this all expected? Even if she couldn't do all of it, the least she could do was to find out she was upset as soon as possible and let her have someone to confide in. Sigh. She was really worried as a younger sister. Truly, brother could not make it, he was not considerate enough. It's fine, it does not matter even if the little brother cannot make it. After all, her sister would not be with Ying Xize in the future. As long as she found someone who would treat her well. Since they formed the business CP, even if it was more towards showing off their friendship, Sang Wanxi's frequency of posting Weibo updates was increasing. Although sometimes there were still selfies and posts to promote Phoenix, most of it all had something to do with Liu Jiwei. As if she had come down with the she would die early if she did not keep mentioning Liu Jiwei on Weibo sickness. It was to the point that her fans were all conflicted, happy yet suspicious. At 01:56, baby, if you keep doing this, I will really be suspicious that Phoenix's male lead is Liu Jiwei and not Ying Xize. Isn't your production crew's direction a bit biased? I want to eat seaweed and fried chicken, why don't I have a friend like this? God, please give me one too. My criteria is not high, it is good enough as long as they're like Sang Wanxi. Do you see me caring about you, God? She's out of production, change to another one. Or why not you go wash up and sleep? Poverty has enveloped me, baby, tell mom the truth, has your heart been moved? Domineering stare. JPG. Sang Wanxi had to admit, some netizens were really smart. At least, smarter than Liu Jiwei. Because even the netizens could see she had fallen, but Liu Jiwei couldn't. Not only could she not see it, she even foolishly came over to tell her, thank you. After Liu Jiwei sent out that thank you message, her whole person calmed down. But she was also a bit lost. She was very grateful Sang Wanxi had put in so much effort to help her, but she was also very apologetic that Sang Wanxi had to take on so much suspicion. This possibly was the most precious friendship. She did not know if she was unique, she had never seen Sang Wanxi be so good to others before. But even if she had, what could Liu Jiwei do? Wan Si was just that kind. Sigh. She held her phone, sighing. After that, she pulled herself together. So what if Sang Wan Si would treat others like this in the future? At least she only treated her like this now. How many people in the world could form a CP with the person they had a crush on? Not many. This was such a rare opportunity. Besides, being able to form a CP meant that she really was different from other people in Sang Wan Si's heart. At least she was different from the people who used a CP with Sang Wan Si just for popularity. Thinking about it, she felt better. Since she was different from the rest, then she had the courage to take the initiative. On the other end, Sang Wan Si was looking at the two words speechlessly. Liu Jiwei, you're really not clever. She even wanted to share some of the intelligence from that fan with Liu Jiwei. Liu Jiwei went with Wen Yao to meet Symphony of Dreams' director Lu Zhao. She sat in the front passenger seat, twisting her head to the side to look outside the window. Liu Jiwei looked at each passerby on the street, their role indicators showing above their heads. Most of them had a pale yellow color. That was the indicator of someone who had no relationship to the main protagonists. They could live their lives peacefully and calmly. In the past, she had hoped for a life like that. A normal life. But she did not expect that her life had become normal with more attention, but this attention wasn't just a normal amount. She would never have imagined that she would become the male protagonist in an idol drama. But the only thing worth rejoicing about was that she was not the sort of mesmerizing, mystical male protagonist who could charm the female protagonist the moment they met. Of course, in the original plot it was. The main reason it had changed was because Lao Wu changed the program and adjusted the determination to avoid a second occurrence of her appearing as a big bro. Just as she was thinking about it, a grey color appeared amidst the sea of yellow. It was a faint, foreign color. It was a color she had never seen before. The car flew past and the scene disappeared. She did not even have a chance to take a second look to see if she had mistaken it. Her eyes widened as she pressed her face to the window, looking backwards. She could not see anything. It was like it was a hallucination. Wen Yao looked at her and asked, "What is it, Jiwei Ji? Did you see someone?" Hearing Wen Yao's voice, Liu Jiwei returned to her senses and sat back. She rubbed her eyes and patted her face, feeling like she was a little more awake. She smiled at Wen Yao, "Nothing." She probably had really seen it wrongly. After all, that color was too dim. Dim to the point that it would be a miracle if someone else could see it. She felt like her eyes were not so impressive. Liu Jiwei and director Lu Zhao met in a tea house. They had specially arrived 10 minutes early. The waitress brought them to the private room. Once the door opened, it revealed a few people already sitting inside. But the VIP Lu Zhao wasn't there yet. Aside from the male lead who was busy with another appointment, and the second female lead who hadn't arrived yet, the rest of the crew had reached. Liu Jiwei thought to herself, "Looks like everybody's early." She politely greeted everybody and habitually glanced at their yellow halos before those disappeared. Everybody was friendly and harmonious. Until the third female lead Jin Manwen appeared. "Miss Liu, hello." Hearing this clear, gentle voice, Liu Jiwei figured it would be a very pretty girl. She turned to look, her eyes widening slightly. Not because of this short-haired girl's looks, but because Jin Manwen's indicator was a deep yellow. The sign of a supporting character. The indicator flashed for a few seconds then disappeared. Liu Jiwei's heart filled with suspicion. What is going on? How was she able to bump into a supporting character here? What was even more outrageous was that Jin Manwen didn't even have a name in the original plot. Jin Manwen raised her hand, good-naturedly reaching out to shake her hand. It is our first time meeting, I am Jin Manwen. I really like you, I have watched all your shows. A friendly and warm air came towards her. Liu Jiwei didn't know why, but she thought of Chu Luo. She understood it. Because the world had an accident, a lot of people's roles changed, just like how she became the male protagonist from a transparent entity. It must be the case. As a mature male lead, she had learned to find explanations for herself. Liu Jiwei thought, I can climb such a big rank difference to become the male protagonist, the female protagonist can ignore the plotline, why can't other people climb a small rank difference to become a supporting role? Liu Jiwei collected her thoughts and smiled, grasping Jin Manwen's hand, hello, thank you for liking me. I've also watched Miss Jin's shows, your acting is good. Hearing Liu Jiwei say that she watched her shows, Jin Manwen immediately became happy. If you have time, let us exchange pointers. I think you really act well, I would like to learn from you. It was the first time Liu Jiwei had been praised like this, she was a bit surprised, no, I'm not worthy of teaching anybody yet. Jin Manwen immediately held her arm, don't be humble, everybody can see how good your acting skills are, or else how would you have gotten on the hot search? You need to believe in yourself. Come, sit by my side, okay? Okay, just sit here. So Liu Jiwei blurrily got pressed into the seat next to Jin Manwen. She was not sure, but she had an odd feeling. Jin Manwen treated her nicely, but she felt like something was not right. She could not put her finger on it. She looked for Lao Wu to help her analyze it. Lao Wu thought about it, if you're the original male protagonist Chu Luo, this attitude from Jin Manwen would basically mean she likes you. But I've already fixed the program, the system didn't receive any reminder of an incorrect judgment, so you're a woman in her eyes. As for whether she likes you now or not, I really cannot tell. Maybe she just wants to be friends with you. Following Phoenix's broadcast, and Sangwon Si and Ying Xiz's efforts to interact with her, she was definitely much more popular than before. Although she had only been a small supporting character, but the business potential was showing itself. With popularity and value, there would naturally be many people she had never met before trying to become her friend. Liu Jiwei, oh, that's fine then. Making friends was fine, she liked making friends. As for liking her, forget it, she already had someone in her heart. With the intention of making friends, Liu Jiwei started chatting with Jin Manwen, the air light. When talking about acting skills, Liu Jiwei didn't hesitate to recommend Meng Lian's acting lessons on a variety show. Although there aren't many episodes, but it is really insightful. After you've watched it, you can use it in your own acting, it is definitely useful. Go watch, you won't lose anything by watching it. Jin Manwen. Why did she feel like there was a salesperson sitting beside her? She quickly put on a smile, okay, I will go take a look, thanks for the recommendation. Seeing you recommend it, do you like Meng Lianyu a lot? Liu Jiwei nodded, I really like her, how about you? Jin Manwen, I like teacher Ji Feng. Liu Jiwei, oh I know, they're both friends. Jin Manwen, that is right, they are friends, and they are both single until now. Oh right, speaking of which, teacher Liu, do you have a boyfriend? The topic changed too quickly, Liu Jiwei was a bit lost. Jin Manwen suddenly lowered her voice, or a girlfriend? Liu Jiwei immediately felt like her heart had been stabbed. She laughed awkwardly, no, I am single. Jin Manwen smiled, I am single too haha. Work's too busy, so I don't have time to date. You too, teacher Lu. Lu Jiwei casually lied, pretty much. The main reason was because the person she liked was too outstanding, she did not even know if there would be a chance to date. As the two of them chatted, Director Lu Zhao arrived. Everybody in the room stood up to welcome him. Lu Zhao was wearing a cap, with his hair in a small braid behind. His looks were average, with a clean face. He did not stop walking, waving a hand to indicate for everybody to sit down, no need to be formal. He sat down and wanted to get straight into it, but he noticed someone missing when he looked around the room. He turned to ask his assistant, Zhou Lingling is not here yet. Zhou Lingling, the second female lead for this show, was from the same company as Lu Jiwei. Lu Jiwei had been surprised when she first found out that she was cast as the second female lead. From what Wen Yao had said, Zhou Lingling had been supported by the company until she had become arrogant. She normally looked down on the smaller actors in the same company. Thus, as the big sister of Sheng Yu, it was inconceivable that she would be a supporting actor for a smaller actress from the same company. But Wen Yao suggested another possibility. Maybe Zhou Lingling did not even know who the female lead was, and she couldn't be bothered to find out. Lu Zhao had wanted to bring up his requests for the show once everybody arrived. So be it if the male lead could not make it because of another work appointment, he could just be informed over a call. Zhou Lingling, who had nothing on recently, why could not she come if it wasn't for the fact that her acting skills were passable for the second female lead's role and that she had resources behind her, he wouldn't even want her in the crew. Lu Zhao's face showed his displeasure as he asked his assistant to call her and hurry her up. The assistant walked out in a panic and called Zhou Lingling's manager. Lu Jiwei watched all of it quietly. Wen Yao was not around, so she gossiped with Lao Wu. She said, Director Lu probably does not really like Zhou Lingling. Lao Wu, be a bit more confident, remove probably. Lu Jiwei amicably changed it, Director Lu doesn't really like Zhou Lingling. Lao Wu, speaking of which, I think you should be a bit more concerned whether Zhou Lingling will find trouble with you. In the original plot, Zhou Lingling was also a supporting female character who had some chances to show her face. She liked the male lead Qiu Luo, and she fought with Zhang Wanxi on occasion. But the reason they fought was not only because of Qiu Luo, but because the radiant and shining Zhang Wanxi could always easily steal the attention away from her, making her inflated ego upset. In other words, she was fighting with the female protagonist halo. Now that Qiu Luo didn't have his halo anymore, the male protagonist halo now could be considered the second female protagonist halo. Nobody knew how the second female protagonist halo could affect a supporting character like Zhou Lingling. Lu Jiwei started praying in her heart, please be a good person, please be a good person. Do not let her encounter a second Qiu Luo. So be it if he was greasy, but he was even unsavable. This child was really exhausted. Everybody waited silently for 10 minutes before Zhou Lingling arrived. This was the first time Lu Jiwei was seeing Zhou Lingling in person. Zhou Lingling was a pretty young lady, with a clean face. She looked like a good girl next door if she didn't speak. Her only flaw was that her gaze was too sharp. She was used to lifting up her chin and speaking down to people. There was no arrogance that made it seem like she disdained all living beings, there was only an unpleasant meanness. Lu Zhao's unhappiness was clearly written on his face. But Zhou Lingling wasn't worried, do not be angry Director Lu, aren't I here now? Lu Zhao really wanted to scold her, but thinking about it, he gave up. One more sentence was one more second wasted. He still had another appointment after this. He had no time and he didn't want to waste everybody else's time too. Besides, with Zhou Lingling's personality, it is not like she would wake up just by someone scolding her. If he scolded her and she left, he would still have to call her after. It was tiring thinking about it. Do not be late next time, it is a waste of time. Lu Zhao's tone was not pleasant. Go sit down. Zhou Lingling did not rebut him or care about it at all, sitting down without any remorse. She was only here to work together with a big director and get a good reputation. She had also heard there were a lot of important scenes for the second female lead in this show. Lu Zhao was still considering if he wanted to make it a show with 2 female leads. It was enough that there were plenty of scenes, the others were not important. She did not even bother to see who was the one who managed to get the female lead's role. No matter who it was fine as long as it was not someone who was less popular than her. She could not stand being a supporting character to small actors. The company had spent so much money and resources to support her, not to let her be a support to someone else. Oh right, and the other criteria was that it was fine as long as it was not Sang Wansi. She did not like that woman. After sitting down, Zhou Lingling's gaze swept across everybody's faces as she scoffed coldly in her heart, "Humph, none of them are more popular than me." Then her eyes slowly landed on Liu Jiwei's face. She knew Liu Jiwei, Sang Wanxi's recent CP. It was a bit of a shock. Sang Wanxi had been willing to form a CP with someone. And it was even a small actress from their company with no reputation. But what was Liu Jiwei doing here? What was she acting as? Lu Zhao, sitting beside her, had already started listing his requirements for the actors. She didn't interrupt, keeping this question for later. Lu Zhao's basic requirements for the actors were simple. Go learn a musical instrument. Everybody was shocked. Lu Zhao's face did not change. This is a show about music. A good portion of the show will be scenes with music. As the people in the show, it's a basic requirement to be able to play the instruments. I also hope you'll really play the instruments. I don't want it to be an act that the audience will expose. You do not have to learn too much, each of you has an instrument, just learn that. For example, Zhou Lingling is the second female lead, the second female lead plays the piano, so Lingling will learn the piano. Jiwei is the female lead, the female lead is the violin, so go learn the violin. Hearing that Liu Jiwei was the female lead, Zhou Lingling froze, looking at Liu Jiwei. Liu Jiwei accidentally met eyes with her. Liu Jiwei. There is killing intent. Lu Zhao did not notice the atmosphere between them. He raised a finger, saying to the room, I only have one request. Before we start shooting, all of you must learn your own instrument. Is that clear? It is fine as long as you can play it. It does not need to be super professional. Of course, if you can make it super professional and get a certificate, I am happy to hear it. Congratulations on learning a new skill. Everybody laughed. Only Zhou Lingling could not laugh. The fire in her eyes was almost burning Liu Jiwei alive. When Lu Zhao stopped talking, she raised her hand and pointed at Liu Jiwei. Director Lu, what role did you say she was? It's here. Lao Wu said. It's killing intent. Liu Jiwei replied. Everybody in the room paid attention, a time for gossip expression on their faces. Lu Zhao looked at her. The female lead, why? Zhou Lingling, she's the female lead. Who made the decision? She did not get the female lead, how could an unpopular small actress step on her head? Was the person who made the decision blind? Could not they see who was the one who could really bring in viewers for the show? Lu Zhao was calm, Me. Zhou Lingling suddenly went silent. Lu Zhao patted the back of her chair. Do you still have something you want to say? Hold on to it for a while, I am not done yet. Then he turned around and continued discussing the filming with the rest of the room, completely ignoring her anger. Not bad, this director is protecting you. Lao Wu said. Lu Jiwei loosened a breath in relief. Lao Wu worried, but whether your company protects you or not, it remains to be seen. Lu Jiwei was not like Xu Luo, with someone in his family backing him. Thinking about it, Lu Jiwei was worried, but she quickly became optimistic again. No worries, we will see as we go. I have a backup plan anyway. Lao Wu did not understand. What backup plan? Lu Jiwei, Xiao Ying asked me to go to their company in the past. If Sheng Yu really wants to suppress me for Zhou Lingling, then I'll pack up and go work with Xiao Ying. If I can't work with Xiao Ying, then I'll work with Wan Si. There are so many management companies, there is bound to be one who will take me, right? Lao Wu paused, then smiled. You're right. My daughter has so much potential, she will be hotly sought after for sure. With a backup plan in place, Lu Jiwei wasn't afraid anymore. She calmly endured Zhou Lingling's fiery eyes as she listened to Director Lu. She did not know how badly Zhou Lingling wanted to rip her apart right now, she only knew she had to learn the violin. Okay, we will wrap up here. I called you guys over to let you familiarize yourself with each other. You guys can create your own chat groups and make friends first. Whether you learn it on your own or find a teacher, it is up to you, as long as you can play the instrument at the end. Lu Zhao got up, looking at his watch. Thanks for coming, everyone. I still have something to attend to, I will be leaving now. If you have anything to ask, look for my assistant. Bye. Bye, Director Lu. Bye-bye, Director Lu. Bye-bye. The farewell greetings came one after another. Lu Jiwei already had an idea when she heard him say find a teacher. She decided to take the initiative again. Instead of speak of the devil, now the devil came even if you thought of him. She had just been about to look for Sang Wan Si when she called her. Having just finished a work meeting and having your crush call you, nobody would be able to be unhappy. So she quickly said bye to everybody and walked off with her phone, not even looking at Zhou Lingling. Jin Manwen did not have time to ask for her contact either. Zhou Lingling stood there, feeling like Lu Jiwei's smile as she was leaving was unbelievably irritating. Arrogant and haughty, it made her particularly uncomfortable to think about it. Lu Jiwei, what right did you have to become the female lead? Wan Si, Lu Jiwei put on her mask and hat as she walked out of the tea house. Why did you suddenly call me? I just finished filming and recalled you were meeting the director today, Sang Wan Si said. How is it, was it successful? Lu Jiwei was very happy Sang Wan Si paid so much attention to her. Her smile suddenly became genuine. It was successful. Director Lu did not say much, he just wanted us to go practice an instrument. Sang Wan Si doubtfully hummed, practice an instrument. Lu Jiwei explained, Director Lu said he wishes that when we are filming, we are really playing the instrument and showing that we can play it, not just putting on an act for the audience. Sang Wan Si understood, saying warmly, being responsible for the audience is a good thing. Lu Jiwei replied lightly, She looked at the road in front of her. The bright sunlight shone down as the breeze and her crush's gentle voice brushed against her ear. Her heartbeat suddenly increased. She could not help but call out, Wan Si. I have a small question, she asked. Can you play the violin? She already knew the answer before she asked. In the original plot, it was written that not only did Sang Wansi know how to play the violin, she also knew how to play the piano, the gahan, the harmonica, and more. There were so many she felt like Sang Wansi was too capable. But thinking about it, she was the female protagonist in an idol drama, how could she not be capable? But if she continued being this capable, people who wanted to be the female lead in an idol drama probably would need to know how to fight with 18 different weapons. Then she heard Sang Wansi reply, I can. Yet. Step 1 complete, the fish is about to get hooked. She silently rejoiced as she said, then can you? I can. Sang Wansi replied immediately, not even waiting to hear the rest of the question. I finish filming in July, I can go look for you once my break starts. I will teach you how to play the violin then. Liu Jiwei was dumbfounded. How did she know what I was going to say? That is decided then. I'm going to go eat first. Bye bye. Bye bye. After hanging up, Sang Wansi's lips curved upwards slightly, a hint of victory in her smile. Good, the fish has taken the initiative to get hooked. Outrageous Chapter 67. When Sang Wansi heard Liu Jiwei say Lu Zhao asked them to learn an instrument, she already had an idea forming in her head. She wanted to teach Liu Jiwei how to play the violin, creating an opportunity for them to spend time together. The most ideal situation was for Liu Jiwei to agree and be willing to wait for her to finish filming next month before starting to learn. In the end, she did not expect that Liu Jiwei would be the one to ask her. This opportunity could not be missed, it wouldn't come again. How could she not agree? She was very happy that Liu Jiwei took the initiative to ask her rather than look for someone else. She was reliable, that is why Liu Jiwei would look for her and subconsciously rely on her. And the mature Liu Jiwei should also learn how to walk into Sang Wansi's trap on her own. Liu Jiwei was in a daze, standing there with her phone. After a while, she scratched her head and asked Lao Wu, wasn't I the one who wanted to hook her? Why do I feel like I was the one who was hooked? What's the difference? Do you still need hooks? Lao Wu replied. The fish has already jumped into your bucket by itself, just bring it home directly. That made sense. Who cares? Sang Wansi agreeing was most important. There were plenty of opportunities to be together when they were practicing. And I feel. Lao Wu rubbed his smooth chin, his eyes narrowing slightly as he thought of something. You can act a bit miserable with Sang Wansi. Act miserable? Liu Jiwei repeated this foreign term, looking at Wen Yao's reply on her phone as she walked. Yes, act miserable. Use this opportunity to activate her compassion and sympathy so she cares about you more. Lao Wu said. For example, tell her that you were just stared down by Zhou Lingling. You did not do anything but you were targeted. How innocent and pitiful. And this is good to prepare for. If Zhou Lingling really tries to do anything to you, it's good to have a friend to support you. Do not underestimate Sang Wansi. Although she did not say anything, but her family background is as powerful as the original male lead's family. As long as she wants to, how could she not ensure your safety? Because of the intentional vagueness of the original plot, Liu Jiwei still didn't know what kind of family background Sang Wansi had. Now, listening to Lao Wu say this, she suddenly was happy. The Chu family was a big power in the business circle. Being as powerful as the Chu family, Sang Wansi's family must also be a major power. If they raised their foot and stomped, the whole industry would tremble. Looking at it this way, putting aside the problem of a relationship, Sang Wansi and Chu Luo really were a good match. The ordinary and powerless corporate slave Liu Jiwei felt so humble she was about to cry. Lao Wu. Did I tell you this to make you feel inferior? Pull yourself together. Lao Wu wanted nothing more than to poke her overthinking head with his finger. Sang Wansi is in the entertainment industry now, not the business circle. As long as you both become top stars, that's also a good match. Don't think about all this nonsense, you hear me? After being comforted, Liu Jiwei felt a bit more optimistic. That is right, she could be a good match too if she became a top star. There is no way she could be a rich heiress, but she could work hard and earn more money to become a rich person. Thinking about it, her face showed a wow expression. She had never dreamt of wanting to become a rich person. Because that dream was too distant, like the sun in the sky. She did not have the courage to look at it straight on. Although it is still far now. But she has motivation. She wanted to be worthy of Sang Wansi too, to be a good match with Sang Wansi. Yes, she had the motivation to work hard again. At the start of July, Liu Shijiao finally went on holiday and returned home. At the same time, Phoenix finally broadcasted the episode that showed Xiao He's ending. Liu Shijiao had originally happily continued watching the show, until she saw the scene. She stayed in her room, using up half a box of tissues to mop up her tears. Crying wasn't enough, she even called her sister. Liu Jiwei could immediately hear her sobs once she picked up the phone. "We of you Xiao He. We of you rubbish male lead, Ying Xize is so detestable. He was so good in the beginning, and he is that hateful in the end." Liu Jiwei patiently waited for her to finish crying before she gently said, "Jiao Jiao, do not pin the actions of a character onto the actor. No matter whether a character was good or evil, the actor only had one duty, to act out the character well. If the character's goodness was enough to move people, if the character's evilness was enough to make people hate them, what the audience should do is to affirm the actor's skills and not hate them for the character's actions. Scolding an actor because he portrayed a bad person, that actor would be too pitiful." Liu Jiwei was an actress herself, so she could understand this viewpoint. She did not want to see her own sister scold Ying Xize because of this. Liu Shijiao sobbed, her voice also breaking, I know Ying Xize acted well, that's why I hate the character. It is just that when I am scolding him, it is easy to call his name." She rubbed her eyes, complaining, "I usually call him that." It was not her fault she was always bickering with Ying Xize. She was used to calling his full name. Ying Xize did not mind too, he would reciprocate and call her by her full name too. Liu Jiwei felt like she had heard an important point, usually you two are in contact. Liu Shijiao didn't hide it. "Yeah, I had something to ask him, so he gave me his contact." Liu Jiwei oed and asked, "What was it?" Liu Shijiao paused, her tears also stopping. How could she reveal that it was to inquire about her sister's love life? No, nothing. She scratched her head. My dorm mate likes him, so I just asked if he could send some autographs and such." Liu Jiwei did not know why, but she felt like the two kids got along quite well. "Then you two have a pretty good relationship." Liu Shijiao denied it. "No, it is normal. If it was really good, she wouldn't have skipped Ying Xize's art lesson that the school arranged for them to de-stress." Liu Jiwei picked up a clean apple and bit into it. "Is that so? Talk nicely to him, he's older than you, you need to be polite, got it?" Liu Shijiao sniffed, vaguely agreeing. "Sorry, the two of them were using sticker packs to argue every day. Remove your brother qualifications, remove your sister qualifications. Stickers were flying everywhere every day. If she was too polite, they wouldn't be able to bicker like this anymore." Liu Jiwei suddenly thought of an important thing. When will your results come out? If you fail, wait for me to punish you. Liu Shijiao wiped away her tears, probably after Monday. Aya, I will not fail, I want to puke from all the studying every day, didn't you see I didn't even go on Weibo. Speaking of which, she tossed the tissue in the rubbish bin and her expression lightened, but sis, your fans are growing. While she wasn't around, Liu Jiwei's fans had grown exponentially. She no longer needed to go into comments sections and Amway. As long as people needed it, there would be other fans who offered up the full Liu Jiwei Amway set meal, letting them pick what they wanted. Following her sister until now and personally witnessing her sister become better and better, her heart was filled with pride. What was this? This was cultivated happiness. Did you see it, sis? Liu Shijiao said happily. As long as you act well, you will be noticed no matter what you do. Even though the amount of attention was not as much as one of the main leads, but this level of attention was already good enough. Even through the phone, Liu Jiwei could feel Liu Shijiao's happiness. That was a happiness that came from the heart. Listening to it was enough to make someone smile. Then, big sis, are your resources a little better now? Yeah, now there are advertisers looking for me. Great. Then what about movies and shows? So many people have witnessed your skill, I am sure there are a lot of shows that want you. If there is not any, then they're all blind. Liu Jiwei laughed. There is. I have a show where I will be the female lead. You will know which show it is when the official announcement comes out. She still had to keep some things confidential. Female lead. Liu Shijiao's voice went a pitch higher, showing her elation. Awesome! Liu Jiwei held onto her phone, her expression growing softer and softer as she listened to her sister dancing around happily, then jumping on her bed. This was one of the reasons why the industry worked hard. To let people who like them feel happy over their progress. But speaking of this show, Liu Jiwei rubbed her chin, deep in thought. Why had not Zhou Lingling made a move yet? Did Shang Yu protect her, or did Zhou Lingling give up on wasting effort on her? But was Zhou Lingling someone who would accept defeat so easily? She had to be more cautious, and not rest easy on her laurels. The second half of July, Phoenix finally came to an end with explosive ratings for the last episode, immediately becoming the hottest show this year. Because of it, Sangwon-si and Ying Xiz's popularity increased dramatically. Sponsorships, advertisements, variety shows and scripts all started pouring in. At the same time, Questioning Deity Sect's filming also officially wrapped up. Wearing a sect master's uniform, Sangwon-si received flowers from director Guo Hui, smiling at everybody in thanks. A show being able to successfully be filmed was never the solo effort of a single person. After chatting with Guo Hui for a while, she went to the changing room and changed out of her costume before getting into the car with Zhang Xianrui. She didn't even spare Chu Luo a glance. As if he was just a tool she acted with. Once the filming finished, he had no further use. Chu Luo stood there, watching her car leave. This woman is really cold to me. Humph, he did not believe the two of them could last. In the car, Sangwon-si tilted her head back, closing her eyes as she rested. The car's air conditioner was set to the coldest, quickly dissipating the summer heat from the air. Zhang Xianrui sat beside her, a slight smile on her face as she browsed through the schedule on her phone. After a moment, she said, "Wan-si, you just finished filming. Rest well at home first, I will not arrange any work for you for a while." She was in a very good mood. Phoenix's explosive popularity had transferred to the actors in the show, and Sangwon-si's value had increased because of it. Now, they could choose any script they want and plenty of variety shows were clamoring to invite them. But she was not so crazy as to treat Sang Won-si as a cash-making machine, making her work without any breaks. Okay. Sang Won-si replied, her eyes still closed. Zhang Xianrui's hand paused, surprise showing on her face. Xiao Qiu, who was sitting in the front passenger seat, also curiously turned back to look at her. One had to know, Sang Won-si used to be a workaholic. She would always request for Zhang Xianrui to get more jobs for her. She actually agreed to rest this time. You have changed. Zhang Xianrui propped up her chin. Looks like questioning deity sect has tired you out. Sang Won-si opened her eyes. It is not because I am tired, but because I already have plans. Hearing that, Zhang Xianrui politely asked about her schedule as her manager. What plans? Sang Won-si turned to look at her, honestly saying, I am teaching Jiwei how to play the violin. Zhang Xianrui. Sang Won-si smiled lightly, I promised her. Zhang Xianrui paused for a while then chuckled, her again, why do you like spending so much time with her? Because she is likable. Sang Won-si replied without thinking. At least, she is likable to me. At this time, Xiao Qiu couldn't help but turn around and agree, yes, Sister Jiwei is really very good, very likable. Zhang Xianrui looked at the front passenger seat in surprise, this girl, when did Lu Jiwei buy you over? She thought about it and immediately figured it out, it cannot be that she cooked for you too. Xiao Qiu mischievously stuck out her tongue. Zhang Xianrui looked at her then said in amusement, glutton. Then she looked at Sang Won-si, but why do you suddenly have to teach her the violin? It's for a show. Sang Won-si calmly uncapped a bottle of water. Director Lu wants them to learn how to play instruments, hers is the violin. Hearing that, Zhang Xianrui recalled something. Lu Jiwei had indeed been chosen as Lu Zhao's new show's female lead, but isn't the second female lead for that show Zhou Lingling from Lu Jiwei's company. Xiao Qiu turned around, Zhou Lingling, that woman who's jealous our Xiao Sang is more popular than her even though she debuted later, and always looks down on us whenever we meet. Zhang Xianrui nodded, that is her. Xiao Qiu frowned, she is actually willing to be a supporting character. Zhang Xianrui's face was calm, being able to work with a big director, it is not a loss to be the second female lead. Xiao Qiu felt it was even more inconceivable, she is willing to be a supporting character to a small actor for that. Zhang Xianrui looked at her, then continued scrolling through her phone. Who knows? Sang Won-si stopped in the middle of drinking her water. She remembered this Zhou Lingling, but it was from Ying Xize. Ying Xize had said before that as a small company, Sheng Yu supported Zhou Lingling and gave her all the good resources. Because Lu Jiwei was not as popular, she probably could not get a lot of resources from the company. She picked up her phone, and checked the date of when she called Lu Jiwei. It was June, but now it was the end of July and she had not heard Lu Jiwei speak of being replaced. So it should be fine. Talking about Zhou Lingling, Xiao Qiu went to look at her Weibo. Then she saw that the woman had posted a vague update on Weibo yesterday. At its Zhou Lingling V, I passed by a piano store so I came in to take a look. Everybody, do you think I am more suited to playing the violin or the piano? Cute. The photo of her was in a piano store, but she clearly had a violin next to her. The comments section were peaceful, with her fans responding passionately. But Xiao Qiu felt more and more uncomfortable. Sang Won-si said Lu Jiwei's instrument was a violin. Was Zhou Lingling mentioning a violin really not on purpose? Sister, Xiao Qiu passed her phone to Zhang Xianrui. Do you feel Zhou Lingling's Weibo is a bit strange? Let me see. Zhang Xianrui took the phone and looked at it, asking Sang Wanxi, do you know what instrument the second female lead plays in director Lu's show? Sang Wanxi nodded. About the instruments in the show, Liu Jiwei had mentioned it all when they were chatting, she still had some recollection of it. Piano. Xiao Qiu opened her eyes wide in surprise. Zhang Xianrui raised an eyebrow. This Weibo post, the smell of gunpowder was strong. Zhou Lingling, her ability is not considered great, but her underhanded methods are quite plentiful. Zhang Xianrui calmly returned the phone to Xiao Qiu. Wanxi, remind Liu Jiwei to watch out. Sang Wanxi nodded lightly, lowering her head to text Liu Jiwei, I am done with filming, I am going back now. Liu Jiwei was working, only replying after she was done, you have worked hard. I just finished an event with my manager, so I replied late. How could Sang Wanxi mind such a thing? She was happy that Liu Jiwei's career was getting better and better. Liu Jiwei thought for a moment and sent another message, it is hard work filming, go home and rest for a few days. We do not have to rush to practice, your health is more important. Lu Zhao said they could only start filming next year, so she was not in a rush to start practice now. If Sang Wanxi had no time, she could look for another teacher. It was better than watching Sang Wanxi drag an exhausted body to come teach her. She could not bear to treat Sang Wanxi like that. After sending out that message, she quickly received Sang Wanxi's reply. Wanxi, I do need to rest. Liu Jiwei could not help but feel a bit sad. So she did not really want to see me immediately after coming back. Then Sang Wanxi's next message came in, going to your place to rest is perfect. Liu Jiwei. Wanxi, Jija, do you mind having one more person in the house? Liu Jiwei opened her eyes wide. Happiness filled her eyes as she smiled. Liu Jiwei, of course I do not mind. Liu Jiwei, rest assured teacher Sang, me and my house are ready to host you this time. At around 6 p.m., Liu Jiwei rushed to get home before Sang Wanxi arrived. Then she rushed down to fetch her once Sang Wanxi entered the neighborhood. Her eyes were crinkled up as she smiled, anticipating their reunion. Zhang Xianrui asked Liu Jiwei to take good care of Sang Wanxi, she is on break so she can eat what she wants, but she still needs to exercise. Thanks a lot, just claim all the expenses she incurs at your place from me. Liu Jiwei waved her hands, no need, I did not pay anything for teacher Sang to teach me the violin, let us just take it as paying my school fees. Zhang Xianrui laughed and looked at her watch, alright, you guys go up, we'll leave first. Before getting into the car, she looked at Sang Wanxi, I will get Xiao Qiu to put the rest of your luggage at your house, don't worry. Call me if there's anything, I'm going. Sang Wanxi, thanks Sister Zhang, be careful on the road. The two of them watched the car drive off before turning to take the elevator up. On the way up, Liu Jiwei fussed over her, afraid she had not been eating well in the production crew. Sang Wanxi gently reassured her. She suddenly felt satisfied. No matter what happened in the future, at least Liu Jiwei had her in her heart at this moment. Returning to the house, they ate and bathed. When Sang Wanxi was taking her bath, Liu Jiwei went out to buy half a watermelon. So once Sang Wanxi came out, she got called over to eat the watermelon on the balcony. Liu Jiwei's house was on the 5th floor, her balcony facing the view of the small plaza in the neighborhood. It was the summer holidays now, so there were kids playing around in the plaza at night. The clean, Innocent laughter echoed through the neighborhood. Accompanied by the night wind, their hearts calmed down. Liu Jiwei was not afraid of having her photo taken, and she was not afraid of Sang Wanxi's photo being taken. They were the same gender after all, the paparazzi would not say anything even if they were photographed together. After everything, would not they just say their friendship was really good? It is quite hot these days in city, come have some watermelon. Sang Wanxi sat on the other chair, taking the watermelon slice. Liu Jiwei picked up a slice too, sitting down. If you like eating it scooped out, I can buy a whole melon tomorrow to scoop it out for you. Sang Wanxi laughed, this is good. No matter what she ate or how she ate it was good enough to have Liu Jiwei with her. Jiwei, have you prepared a violin? I bought one. I see, I was planning to ask if you wanted mine. Although she had not used her violin at home for a very long time, but it had always been placed with her mother's piano and kept in good condition by experts that her father hired. She could use it whenever she wanted. If Liu Jiwei needed it, she could immediately take it out. Liu Jiwei's hand stilled as she looked over. Don't, aren't you fighting with your dad? You will still bump into him if you return home to take it. If you two quarrel then, it would not be good. Or did you already prepare to go see him? No, I can get my aunt to help take the violin out. Sang Wanxi did not hide her intention, she lowered her eyes as she looked at the sweet and refreshing slice of watermelon. I do not have plans to meet with my father at this time. Liu Jiwei could not give her too many suggestions. She did not have a good relationship with her parents either, or rather, she did not even have one. The atmosphere felt a bit pressured. Liu Jiwei quickly said, let us not talk about this, let us eat. Sang Wanxi bit into the melon, then asked, Jiwei, did Zhou Lingling trouble you? Liu Jiwei was surprised. How did you know Zhou Lingling is in the production crew with me? Hasn't it not been announced yet? Lu Zhao said they would only announce the actors before they officially started shooting. Then how did Sang Wanxi know Sister Zhang said it? Sang Wanxi took another bite. Liu Jiwei calmed down. Oh, that is right. She forgot her manager was Zhang Xianrui. A big manager like Zhang Xianrui, what did not she know in the industry? Suddenly, Liu Jiwei thought of Lao Wu's plan to act miserable. She sneakily observed Sang Wanxi. She was eating the melon, unaware. Liu Jiwei sat a bit straighter, preparing to get some sympathy from Sang Wanxi. If it was in the past, she definitely wouldn't like doing something like this. But it was different now. In front of the person she liked, it was not impossible for her to play the victim. Anyway, she was not talking about when she was a transparent entity, this was not a big thing. She thought for a bit, then said, it is just that day when we had the small production meeting, Zhou Lingling, just stared at me with an expression that was not so friendly. Hearing that, Sang Wanxi lifted her head and looked at her. Liu Jiwei quickly continued, ever since that day, we have not met, so she did not have any chance to trouble me. Sang Wanxi's eyebrows smoothed out a bit. She suddenly had a bad feeling. Feeling as if Zhou Lingling would not let Liu Jiwei off so easily. She reached out and held Liu Jiwei's hand, her gaze strong. Do not worry, I'm here. She will not be able to harm you. Liu Jiwei's expression became happy. Hearing such a gentle and affirming promise from the person you liked was really good. I am not worried. It was time to sleep, in the blink of an eye. Liu Jiwei arranged Sang Wanxi in the second bedroom. Her bed was not as big as the one in a hotel, so she was afraid Sang Wanxi would not rest well if they slept together. and she couldn't find an excuse to share a bed with Sang Wansi. So Sang Wansi stood at the entrance of the second bedroom and watched Liu Jiwei say good night, then close the master bedroom's door. Sang Wansi. Why did she arrange her in the second bedroom? Who said she wanted to sleep in the second bedroom? Was this how Liu Jiwei treated her CP partner? Liu Jiwei lay down and was about to turn off the light when a knock came from her door. She was confused, but said come in. Sang Wansi opened the door and entered. She was wearing her pajamas, her hair lightly resting on her shoulders, a hint of laziness in her eye-catching appearance. She turned and closed the door, lying by Liu Jiwei's side without saying anything. She even turned the light off for Liu Jiwei. Good night, she said. Because her actions were so smooth, Liu Jiwei had not reacted to it. Liu Jiwei felt it was funny. Wansi, what are you doing? Sang Wansi replied confidently, finding a place to sleep. Liu Jiwei's voice had a hint of amusement that she could not hide. Didn't I let you sleep in the second bedroom? Sang Wansi, not sleeping in the second bedroom, I want to sleep with you. Liu Jiwei's heart skipped a beat. Why? Sang Wansi replied without hesitating, I am scared you will have another nightmare. Liu Jiwei suddenly could not speak. The first time they shared a bed, she did have a nightmare. But she did not think that after so long, Sang Wansi would still remember it. This person, why was everything she said and did so flirty? She pulled the blanket over Sang Wansi. Good night. Sang Wansi, good night, I will teach you the violin tomorrow. Hold your hand and teach. After she said those 5 words, Liu Jiwei could no longer fall asleep. Hold my hand, and teach doesn't that mean we'll have a lot of skin contact?